Yo, what's happening, YouTube family? So, over the course of the past 6 years of me working as a UX designer, I've been contacted by a lot of aspiring UX designers who work in fields like hospitality, sales, science, education, fitness. These folks come from a wide variety of fields and they're interested in UX design, which is great. They want to pursue becoming a UX designer, but they feel a sense of fear that is holding them back from pursuing their dream. And an acronym that I've heard tossed around a lot as of late is fear represents false evidence appearing real. And I used to feel the same way. I used to work as a social media manager. I was a DJ, I was a barber, I was a coach and mentor to inner city youth. I worked at a digital media marketing agency as a salesperson. So I understand that fear. So I wanted to create a video for anybody who feels that same sense of fear because you're in your current job or role or you've had prior roles, but you want to be a UX designer, you're just not sure if all the skills that you've learned so far apply to UX design. So hopefully this video inspires you to pursue your dream. I'm not saying that everybody could be a UX designer. That's not what I'm trying to say with this video, but I am trying to say hopefully you learn and discover the skills that you have right now can apply to UX design. My mom used to tell me that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything else. And I can't say, at least from personal experience, the way that I used to be a barber is the way that I design. The way that I used to work in sales is the way that I present my work as a designer, right? So I'll share some of the experiences of the folks that I've spoken to and some of my own experience. So there was a young lady that I spoke to who worked in customer service, and when we spoke, she had that same fear that she could never be a UX designer even though she wanted to. And through our conversation, I learned that a lot of what she does every day is try to understand customer issues and what they're going through. She tries to resolve their problems, and a lot of times when they call her, they might feel anxious, they might feel irate before they even get on the phone, and they're taking out their anger on her, and she has to try to calm them down and try to create a safe space for them to talk in order for her to understand their problems before she resolves their problems for them, right? A lot of what she does is a lot of what I do every day, because as a UX designer, people feel skeptical about what they're getting into. They might feel a bit apprehensive because you're taking an idea from an idea all the way to a product, and people don't understand that process, and they might be fearful, they might be nervous about that. You have to create a safe space for them to express their ideas and so forth. So I could see that what she did every day as a customer service person I could totally relate to her as a designer. There was another guy that I spoke to who worked as a journalist, and after our conversation, I learned that what he does on a daily basis is try to highlight problems in communities. And I feel like as a designer, almost the same thing, because we have to take a look at the competitive landscape when it comes to websites and mobile applications, learn what those problems are in the market and try to solve those problems. So we have to identify those problems first, really similar to what journalists do. There was a woman that I spoke to who worked as a nurse in healthcare, and she said that some days her patients had good days and some days they have bad days, but nobody wants to be in a hospital for weeks on end, right? But depending on her mood, depending on the energy that she brought to her job every day, she could pick somebody's spirit up and make them feel good about, them being, not make them feel good, but make them feel better about their situations. And I feel like that helped me learn that what she does in her job every day is try to empathize with folks about where they're at in their lives, where they're at in their treatments, and what they're going through. And I feel like as a designer, a lot of times what we have to do is empathize with folks who might not understand the process of design. or what it takes to be a designer. They might just say, you know, that color is blue, it needs to be orange. Why is that button so large? You know, so you have to empathize with those folks and not take out hostility on them. You have to basically create a safe space for them to express their ideas. There was a sales guy that I spoke to who, you know, he had to present ideas to clients all day and understand what their needs were, understand what their goals were. And I feel like as a designer, you got to do the same thing. You got to understand stakeholder needs, you have to understand user needs, you have to understand business goals, right? And you can't execute on building something unless you know what the goals are. And I could say for myself personally, working as a barber, that's the one thing that I feel like prepared me the most to be a designer, to become a designer. You know, I think the number one thing that I learned as a barber is to never assume the kind of haircut that somebody wants, right? Somebody might want to look like Drake, and you know, if you give them a haircut where they're looking like Jay-Z, and you could almost see their scalp because you gave them a #1 haircut and they thought a #1 haircut actually looks like Drake, there's something wrong with that, right? So I feel like as a UX designer, as a barber, how those two things relate is that you have to understand the goals or the vision that people are trying to get to, and you have to get on the same page about what that vision is. What I hope can come of me telling you other people's stories and telling you my own story is that you can find or discover the things that you're doing right now in your current role or your past roles, and try to talk to other designers and learn what it takes for them to do their jobs every day. So then you could see how your current skill set can transfer into UX design if you're interested in UX design, right? So I hope that this video helps you. I hope that it motivates you. I hope that you're inspired to get out there and pursue your dreams now. Peace and love, y'all.